Well, welcome to a new Harry's Garage video, and yes, we are doing another auction preview video, and this one should be iconic Auctioneers Race Retro sale at Stoneleigh, but it's not. We are in the wing at Silverstone Circuit, the actual display center. They quite often use this as their base for sales, and what has happened in the past 48 hours, we've had an awful lot of rain and the Race Retro event has been cancelled. So craziness behind the scenes, but you'll see some of the cars are still wet because they've literally just been pushed in. For some reason, February has been crazy wet in the UK and it's actually cancelled the event. So we are here and the cars are still arriving. Now, the dates of this sale. Today is Thursday, the cars are arriving, but the sale starts tomorrow, Friday, with competition cars. There's around 50 competition cars here, 65, 70 road cars as such. And I like this Race Retro sale because there's such a mix of cars here, and there are some ones you just don't know what they're worth, but they're quite affordable and they're slightly modded. Look at that Escort, we're going to have a look at that in a moment. Some great Alphas here, step-nose Alphas. The X19, I'm going to probably kick off with that one. Cars that you don't normally see for sale, but are tempting, and a £10,000 guide, £20,000 guide. In fact, I think the majority are around the £30,000 mark. But there are some superstar cars here, that one that hasn't arrived yet, which I'm really looking forward to going around. That is the Peugeot 205 Turbo T16. Remember that homologation special rally car? There's one of those in this sale, so we're definitely going to feature that one. There's also, Defenders here. I'm not going to feature these Defenders, but I will mention this one because this has come from the Sandringham estate. It's a royal car again. I think it's a 2008 Land Rover Defender, and it's a station wagon, so it's got the seats in the back, and that is guided at £30,000 to £35,000. Yeah, and a Tomb Raider special one there, and one of the very last ones there. But I thought I would kick off with this. Now, one of the competition cars here is this one. Look at this, Fiat Abof X19 prototypo replica. Now, there is one of these. Look, Tom, look what's just arrived. It's here. Yeah. Well, we are going to feature that one in a moment. Let's get back to the Fiat X19. Look at it with the snorkel on it. These were raced in period, these fun cars, and then they did a series of replica ones. This one is not one of the original special ones, but one someone has built up over a 10-year period, 1987. And it's got a Fiat Uno turbo engine in it, and it looks great. If you're into Italian craziness, look at it, look at the snorkel on it, look at the rear spoiler on it. I think this one is guided at, £15,000 to £20,000 of hilarious fun. 208 horsepower, according to the map in here. Yeah, I presume it's road registered, yeah, it's E-Reg, 1987. So if you want a very surprising hill climb car that no one else has got in the paddock, there you go, there's one of those. Wanted to just show you this Escort. So this is obviously a Markw Escort, Mexico, as you can see on there. Normally would come with a 1600 pushrod engine in them. Possibly if you wanted a really hot one, you get the BDA engine. What's weird of this one is someone has fitted the Vauxhall Astra engine GTE, which was 156 horsepower, 2-litre twin cam engine, much more tunable, more modern unit for this car, and that gives it some proper welly. But because it's got the Vauxhall engine, it's a bit cheaper. So this one is £18,000 to £22,000 for a bubble arch Markw Escort. Look at it. Alpha's really nice as well, all done for historic rallying, £35,000 to £45,000 for that. A trick Lotus Cortina, very nice, got FIA papers as well, 2020 issued, all prepped, done lots of racing, and £55,000 to £65,000. Remember them being cheaper. But the car I wanted to show you here is this one. Now, I remember this is 1981. This is a Ford Capri 3-litre S. But what makes it really special is it has the X-Pack, and that means it had the bubble arches, which I have never seen one. I've only ever seen them in a catalogue, and as a kid I can sort of remember the X-Pack. Well, oh my goodness. Think of it like the M3, E30 M3 with bubble arches on it. It's got a trick 3.1 litre V6 in it, triple carbs, 240 horsepower or something. And I think it's terrific. Road registered, and 22 to 27,000 pounds with it. When we were looking around it, it even has carbon fibre bumpers on it. That's how special that one is. Now, I want to show you another Escort over there that I quite fancy as well. Now, this is the Escort I wanted to show you here. What do you think? F-Reg, bubble arch, twin cam, looking pretty good, sort of single exhaust, but this has a secret to tell, this car. You can't call it a plain Mark I Escort because of the bubble arches and the big tyres, but under there is a very special engine. This Mark I Escort has a Sierra Cosworth turbo engine in a pretty healthy state of tune. 2-litre Cosworth YBT with this one 365 horsepower. This one packs under there. It's got a live axle. I mean, it's stunning. It's got period seats in it. It all looks fine. Deep dish wheel. What else is it? No, there's nothing to say. It's got a slightly blacked out, it's updated instruments in it. But my goodness, 365 horsepower Mark I Escort, and this one is 40 to 45,000 pounds. I must stay away, but I bet that's an absolute hooligan of a car. Now, something completely different. You know, I always like original cars, and this one is highly original, basically almost one family owner, but not quite. But the vendor whose car this is, his father bought the car back in period, and then he put it, there was a slight fault with it, he put it away in the 80s, and in 2023, the son decided, I'm going to get it back on the road. And here it is. And he's had it fettled, he's got new tyres on it. Fortunately, it was stored pretty well, so it doesn't look that rusty. The paint sort of has that period look it could do with painting, but it is all together. And the most wonderful 8-track is sitting down there. It's a manual 4.2 litre coupe. It's right-hand drive, UK registered, great registration, OYC6L. Even got original number plate on the back when it was delivered with, and 36,000 miles from new, 35 to 45,000 pounds for an utterly original E-Type that you could drive away from the sale here. Another car I wanted to show you was this Jägermeister BMW here. So E28, a very famous sort of touring car racer. So this car isn't quite what it seems. It started life as a road-going 520i. And then someone said, hang on a minute, I want to make a race car out of it. And to make it even more interesting, underneath this carbon bonnet is an E34 M5 engine in it. So the straight six twin cam engine, about 360 horsepower, I think, something like that. A very well-known car, apparently in BMW circles. Absolutely looks the part, huge fun, and guided at 38 to 45,000 pounds. But I actually wanted to show you this Subaru Impreza. If you want the cleanest Subaru Impreza from 1995, then it's this. It says so almost in the number plate, which is a very famous N555 wax. It is detailed to death. You will not find a cleaner car. It's been on various exhibitions. It was up at the NEC on a stand there. I've never seen one that looks like this. It's been nowhere near mud. It's utterly original. It's 59,000 miles from new, and 30 to 35,000 pounds buys you the cleanest Impreza you'll ever see. Now, there's a couple of cars here that represent why you put cars in auction, because I just have no idea what they're worth. So you put it in an auction and you find out what they're worth. S2000, Honda S2000, yeah, 2002. One family ownership from new, this car, 1,178 miles from new as well. How do you value an S2000 with that lower mileage, UK based, good colour, got the hard top? Well, they've put a guide on it at 32 to 40,000 pounds, which seems pretty reasonable to me for that car. I'd be very interested to see what that one makes. Or, in the competition side, a 1996 Porsche 993 3.8. So this is the RSR recreation. It's even got a RSR number plate for a 993 recreation with the 3.8 litre engine in it, trick engine in this, properly done. Just the engine alone is around 45,000 pounds worth. You wouldn't build this for under 100,000 pounds. 993 base, and this one is guided at 65 to 75,000 pounds for a huge amount of fun for a track day special, if you like. I had to show you this. This is a Renault Clio V6. So this is the V6 trophy that actually was the race series that used to support the F1 circus from 98 to 2000. You used to see these crazy things racing, and I made about 160 of these race cars. What I love about it, you can actually see the V6 in the back, because you don't normally see it on a Clio V6. It's all hidden away under trim and things, but there it sits in all its glory, this crazy car. And actually, it's guided at reasonable money, I think, for one of these. It's 36 to 42,000 pounds, almost half the price of a road-going version. But look at it, it's just art craziness. This Alpha, I ought to just mention here, this has done everything. This races all over Europe. It's been FIA papered until 2033. I can't get over who sat behind that seat and how many races it's done around Europe and Goodwood and all the rest of it, and guided at 40 to 46,000 pounds. I had to show you this one. This one's is an interesting car because it looks full on, and it's Moviton and it's a world rally car. Except it's not. It's a replica of the real deal that someone built over a period of time to make look absolutely like a Group B rally car of Moviton. It's not crazy modified, it's never done rallying, it does quite a few events and is seen, if you want to drive one, it's road registered, utterly usable, 2 seats front, it looks like a works rally car behind the wheel in there as well, and guided at 32 to 38,000 pounds. But what a car to be seen in. 3 great cars here, a mix of road and race cars, but this Alfa Romeo Giulia Super, do like these saloon cars. It's got FIA papers. I love the sort of vintage sort of writing on it, and guided at 28 to 34,000 pounds. Looks very good value to me. Who doesn't like the original A110? And this one has been recently restored, it says, and it's got a fresh engine in it, 5-speed gearbox. It's getting expensive now, 60 to 70,000 pounds. But I really wanted to show you this one. 1964 Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint GT, so the step nose. Looks very classy for a race car, and even more so when you realise the owner of this car, who's now selling it, putting it in the auction, has done 16 seasons with this car. Every race series you can think of across UK, Europe and the US, this car has raced at. It's been at the Goodwood members meeting, Goodwood Revival. There's a list. You have a look at the website if you want to see the full list of events, but it's got class wins everywhere. And yet, here it is, ready to go again for some other owner to enjoy on all those race series, guided at 30 to 35,000 pounds. Get entered everywhere, and it's so pretty. Couple of really nice Peugeot 205 1.9s in the sale. This blue one, Miami Blue it's called, they did a limited run of them in this colour, 300 of them for the UK. And what makes this one particularly special is it's only 6,333 miles from new. Because of that, it's guided at quite strong money, 40 to 50,000 pounds. If that sounds a bit much, well, you can have this one 59,000 miles and guided at a slightly more sensible 18 to 22,000 pounds. Now, if you want a classic Mini, where you've got 4 to choose from in this sale, this first one's 1963, one of the earliest Minis I've seen, and it's basically, you're going to have to restore it, that you can see little bits of rust, I'm afraid, just poking out here and there, but 7 to 10,000 pounds. Love the interior though, it is pretty damn good for a car of that age. You know, it's 55 years old, but 3 Mini Coopers. Which one to choose? Really hard to decide which one is best, but this one, yeah, fully restored, 970S, 1964, so that's the first one, not a 998, 970cc, and 30 to 40,000 pounds for that one in a very nice red black roof combination. Or this one, beautifully restored, 1965 1275S. It's extraordinary seeing them now with sort of the steel wheels, small wheels, sort of fairly plain interior, just the distinct two-tone because of the cream roof on it, but 38 to 48,000 pounds. I am told this is probably the best one in the sale. It is beautiful condition, beautifully restored, but I think I would probably buy this one because I just love the Works replica look as this one, and it is a replica. It's not a Works Mini, this one, but if you look behind the wheel, if you look, it's got the old clocks and its stopwatches on the dash. A stunning rally replica, works rally 1275S engine, so 91,000 miles, but it's 30 to 35,000 pounds. I think that's my pick, but I'd have any of those three if you're looking for a really good Cooper S. Now, there's a couple of very special M3s, including this one, E46 CSL. Wonderful colour, wonderfully presented, super clean, looking around it. And then you look at the mileage this car has covered. 947 miles from new. How does that happen? Originally delivered new to the Isle of Man, that's what its number plate is, and as you imagine, it has a very high guide on it. 120 to 140,000 pounds for it. Or what about this M3? And you think, hang on a minute, this looks very special as well. Unique colour, the sort of touring car mirrors on it. What's this car? Well, this has quite an interesting story behind it. And this car is an M3 Redux, basically reimagined. Think of Singer and what they've done with their 911. Well, Redux have done the same thing with the E30 M3. This is all carbon fibre, doors, etc. All redone interior and a reworked engine. 300 horsepower from its 2.3 litre engine. Modern look, lights, you can go all round it. Everything is bespoke on this car. This is chassis number 1. They are in a very expensive car as well. If you wanted to order one of these today, they're around 450,000 pounds. This car, being chassis number 1, is guided at 200 to 250,000 pounds for what they think is the ultimate E30 M3, 300 horsepower and super light. Be very interested to see what that makes. More regular, well, the Porsche GT4. I really like these. It's interesting, they live under the shadow of the 911 GT3s and things. GT4 with this more balanced handling, wonderful high revving engine. This one is 1,000 miles from new, 80 to 90,000 pounds. I think they'll always be worth that because they're such fantastic cars to drive. Right, a couple of Porsches for you. 911 GT3 Touring. This is the 991 version of the Touring. The 992 Touring, they're making loads of those, but the 991 Touring is actually the one to have. And it's super rare. They're doing sound checks in the background. If you hear some strange noises, that's what's going on there. So this is, yeah, 47 right-hand drive is all they made of the Tourings. Obviously manual, nice spec car. Unfortunately, the owner of this car had an unfortunate spin in it, and he was coming back and sopping wet day on Cup 2 tyres, and unfortunately he had a little pirouette and he hit the bank and stuff. But it was repaired by Porsche, but that has affected its guide price because these fetch big money normally, but because of that, no recording, there's nothing, no funniness. They've just declared it in the description of it. It's guided at 125 to 150,000 pounds, and it has done 14,000 miles from new. The legendary 993 turbo. So turbo, 4-wheel drive, twin turbo. I had one of these. I couldn't believe how quick it was when we were driving these in 96, 97. Just a ballistic power. You used to just feed each gear in and took off. They were actually quicker than the 996 turbo, which was slightly heavier, slightly different setup. These wild things, and they're starting to get, you know, really appreciated now. The last of the air-cooled turbo versions. Nice spec. I think it's about 60,000 miles. This one, 64,000 miles, and yeah, because of that, it's guided at 100 to 120,000 pounds. Now, obviously, I have to show you this one, the Jaguar Project 7, because I've got one, as you probably know. This one is slightly different to mine because it has only done 71 miles from new. Mine's about 16,000 miles. But yeah, I've just come back from Spain in mine, and it's interesting to see this one actually has the roof fitted. It's quite a clever roof. It's carbon fibre, it's quite slick. What I like about it, it's completely waterproof. These are 3 sections here you slot in, and then you tension these. If I just open the boot, you'll see they have little things here that when you attach it, you just tension it on there, close your boot, and you have a fully waterproofed Project 7. I like them because these are wild machines. They were made before particulate filters had to be fitted to the exhaust, so they have a proper crackle and a proper growl. 575 horsepower they're rated at, but actually when I spoke to the engine boys, they haven't seen one under 582 horsepower, and it's about 1580 kilos. And I just like the way it has this dual mode. It is this wild two-wheel drive, leery, crazy machine, speed limited to 186 miles an hour, or you can put it in completely normal mode, automatic gearbox, and just cruise, although no of the wildness is present, and you can just drift through town without anyone noticing. I think they also look really good. They only made 250 of them. They were all sold out at a Goodwood festival when it was shown, and owners seem to really like them. I also should mention it's a chop down screen on the European models like this one. The American cars had a standard windscreen on it. The European spec had the chop down screen and the carbon back seats, and you also get carbon brakes on them as standard. This car is guided at 110 to 130,000 pounds. I think mine was, I think the new, they were 135,000 pounds. So they've sat in the market. I think one day the world will wake up. This is a super rare Jaguar, and it would be more appreciated than perhaps it is today. Interesting also to see one of these. This is the final F-Type coupe. They call it the Heritage Edition, and it became in this very distinctive, slightly strange green colour that was original E-Type colour when the E-Type first came out. 32,000 miles, 2021, guided at 90 to 110,000 pounds. There's three very special cars from the 60s here. The Maserati Coupe, an outside bonnet lock E-Type there, 1961, that's one of the earlier ones, number 38 chassis number. But the car I wanted to show you is this, the Triumph TR5. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for this. I think the TR4 was a very good looking car, and when you see the TR5 badge on it, weirdly, that means it has a 6-cylinder engine in it. So basically it got the first iteration of the 6-cylinder engine that ended up at 2.5 litre going into the TR6. But these, very rare, only produced for 1 year, and they are, I think, the TR1 to tuck away. Are so classically English. It's on wire wheels. This is restored, they describe it as to Concorde Elegance standard, and it looks like it to me. 70,000 miles, guided at 50 to 60,000 pounds. I've never seen one as smart as that, all in the right colours, just a delightful thing. Whole load of really interesting competition cars down here, including 2 World Rally cars. So this one, 2007 Ford Focus World Rally car, incredible history. The number of people, Solberg I can see on there, Rossi, Wilson, quite a lot of money. World Rally cars, 340 to 380,000 pounds for that. Or the Skoda World Rally car, I think this one's earlier, 2003, and Didier Auriol, 12th place in the rally at San Remo in this car. Amazing history. It's great to see these cars actually come up for auction. If you want that, well, 240 to 280,000 pounds. Now, I just love the history of this Peugeot 309 GTI. So it's a 1987 Group A car, but a driver in 1991, Richard Burns, was given this car to compete on the Lombard Rally. And he was a young driver, and the Peugeot director wanted to give him a chance in this famous rally. And he just did amazing things in this 1991 rally. He won, he was the fastest two-wheel drive on the event. He finished 16th overall. He was aged 20 at the time, unheard of, and it then led on to all the works rally drives he then got. Sadly, Richard died in 2005, way too early, but he did win a World Championship rally, I think with Mitsubishi. But this is what the car that put him on the map. To finish 16th in your first ever RAC rally, the fastest two-wheel drive, there was obvious talent there, and it got spotted, and this is the car that started it. And the Burns family have had this car since. They found it, bought it back, and it's just part of, if you're a fan of Richard Burns, this is the car where it all started, and it's only guided at 70 to 80,000 pounds, but what a history. But the car I'm going to finish off with, the Peugeot 205 Turbo 16. Amazing to see it here. They produced 200 of these homologation specials. This is Group B era, and I've always loved this car. Just the looks, the starts, everything about it, and what it then went on to do, and it's got Dakar history, etc. But a road going one. This is number 176. The guy who's now selling it saw it in France, had to have it, got it over here, has gone through it. It's apparently it's turnkey, it all works beautifully. But it's just wonderful to see. They are as mad as they come. If I just press that, you can see how soft the perspex is on the back. We're going to open the clamshell, you can just have a look at the engine. Crazy car. I mean, so much horsepower in rally mode. Has a unique sort of 16 valve head on it. It's I think they're 76 cc, so they use the diesel block, the Peugeot diesel block, because it was stronger as the base for the engine. And this is only 197 horsepower, but it still does 6 point something to 60. I looked up the weight of them. They're under a ton, so four-wheel drive, you can balance how you want the four-wheel drive, 980 kilos I think they are. Do you know, it's such a good car. Let's lift up the backs and have a quick look underneath. Just wanted to show you inside. You can see all the bracing on here, it's so distinctive. There's a bulkhead behind the two seats, but sort of vaguely normal. Turbo 16 wheel, it looks like a regular Peugeot wheel, but come round the back and the madness starts here. So you can see how far across the engine is. There's the engine tucked right off that side. Gearbox is there. Giant intercooler there, air-to-air intercooler. That's what the scoop on the side is. I love how it's got a sort of trim parcel shelf. Nothing you can get anywhere near it from the passenger side because there's a screen there as well. Battery there, try and bring some of the weight back. This huge, unique sort of subframe round the back. Just mad wonderfulness, typical Group B, and a real part of history. And if you ever saw these cars in action, well, they are absolute hero rally cars. A great piece of engineering. So there you go. There is my review of the Race Retro sale that isn't at the Race Retro show because it got cancelled because of all the rain, hence why some of the cars are all being wet as you go around. If you want to come and see this auction, well, you can come straight into Silverstone Circuit, no problem at all, because there's no other event here. There's just this sale happening tomorrow, Friday, and then that's for the competition cars. And then on Saturday, the 23rd, is when the road cars are going to be sold. This Peugeot is going to be sold and that sort of thing. All the details are on the iconic Auctioneers website. If you need to register, if you want to bid on any of the cars, remember you have to register first and then you can bid online or in person. And the sale itself is on live on YouTube. You'll find it via, again, their website, or you'll look up on YouTube, just put in iconic auction Race Retro sale 2024, and you can watch this sale live and see what this car and all the others are going to make at the sale. But I hope you enjoyed this rundown of my pick of the cars on sale here. Sorry I can't feature them all, but I hope you like the picks I brought out. If you did, keep watching, keep subscribing, more videos coming along very soon.